All right, I think we are live. We are recording. We are here. We are in the building. And so we are missing Amiana right now, but I'm sure she is going to come on. So because it's 2 after, let me see if we have anybody on right now in the chat. Let me see how I can see everybody. I think Marcia, you sent me a personal chat, but let me see if I can switch to everyone. Okay. Okay. Here trying to figure out Zoom, right? Panelists, webinar chat. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Amiana will just jump right through. I think she is last to speak anyway, so she'll just get right in. Okay, so we are live here for another Scar Power Scar Talk webinar. We have a special Women's History Month Scar Talk titled Women Making History, Scar Edition. And not only that, it is Keloid Awareness Month. So you'll hear more about that later in the webinar from Nicole here. Also, I would like to welcome these beautiful women and founders of SCAR organizations that I follow. Marcia Joy from Perfectly Scarred Inc., Nicole Solomon from Scarred and Free, Kimberly Barrett from Gods Into Details, and we have Amiana Germany, who is on the way from Women with Scars. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to do this event. I am so excited to talk to you all.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the purpose of this event is I wanted to let people know that we're here and what it is that we do, because I know that when I was going through my scar journey, I was alone, I was insecure. I didn't think to seek people out. Like, I didn't even know there were people there that was doing it. I think the first thing that I said to Nicole when I met her, I was like, what? I didn't know that you even existed. You know what I mean? So, because we feel so alone when we're going through this stuff, and we just don't know that there are people out there. So also to provide support and inspiration to those that are going through their own scar journeys, and to build community, to meet each other and to tell our stories. I think I just mentioned, this is the first time I'm actually meeting Kimberly and Marcia, and I've known Nicole and I've met Amiana before. So we're just meeting for the first time as well. Like, we talked through emails and stuff. And I did not want to do like a pre-session, because I just wanted us to be like authentic, just like meet each other, hear our stories for the first time, and go from there. So if you give me 1 second, Amiana is here, but I think she may have joined not as a panelist, but as a, give me 1 second. I am going to try to get her in here. Let's see. I raised my hand. I probably should have looked at how to work Zoom before, right? Okay, so participants. Okay, here we go. And attendees, Amiana is here. So let me promote her to panelists. There we go. There we go. All right, so as Amiana is getting started and coming on live with us. Hi, Amy. She's here. So again, welcome to all of y'all for agreeing to do this event. You know, our purpose is to make sure that we are here, we are providing support and community and inspiration to all of those that are going through their journeys. The way this will work is it's just going to be a roundtable discussion. So we'll tell our personal scar stories. We'll discuss our organizations and what it is that we do, and we'll provide just inspiration and community. We have fun, we talk, do what we need to do here, right? And welcome to all of those who are watching. I appreciate you guys for your support and for joining. We have Danielle Polion on, Denise Mays, Evera Baker, Keisha Tucker. Actually, that's my aunt, so hi, Auntie. Miss Angie Mack, she's actually did another SCAR talk with us before. Michelle Ross, Madhu Bello, Thorn Lynn, and and Tatiana W. So thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. So we will be taking questions throughout the webinar. There should be a question box in your Zoom. So if you can keep your questions there, that would be great, just to have it organized for me so I can just go to a question box and see. But also, if you want to type anything in the chat, please do. I'll try to keep an eye on that as well. So we are going to get started here. I'm going to start you guys off with my story and how we all came to be and how Scar Power came to be. If you haven't heard it before, if you have, you're going to hear it again. So in 2009, I got surgery to remove a keloid scar from the center of my chest. And if you don't know what keloid is, it's a skin condition that creates imbalance in collagen and skin cells. So any trauma that is introduced to the skin, it has a tendency to overheal, which creates like big bubbles on your skin, which you probably seen on keloid skin before. And there's a few of us here today that actually have this condition that you'll hear more about it throughout the webinar. So I actually had a scratch from a chain that I used to wear. It was a cross chain, and that scratch actually healed as a keloid. And if you know anything about keloids, it has a tendency to grow bigger over time. So that keloid in the center of my chest started to get bigger and bigger, and I started to get more insecure about it. So I decided to just go ahead and get the surgery and get it removed. But during the healing process, the doctor told me to use a cream called Aldera cream, which actually gave me a huge chemical burn. So as you can see, this is like 100 times worse than the initial little keloid that I had. And of course, because it was trauma to the skin, it keloided into a much larger keloid. And so since then, I've had 2 additional surgeries to try to remove the keloid skin. And I have been going through 14 years of steroid injections. And I know that sounds crazy, but yes, 14 years, every few months I go so I can keep the keloid flat, because what the steroid injections do is kind of calm the skin down so it doesn't raise up. It don't raise up. So yep, 14 years. So it actually took me 12 years to actually want to get out of my scar story, because I felt so trapped in my own body. I got to a point where I was like sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick and tired of myself, right? Like I wanted to wear a tank top. I wanted to wear a bathing suit. But of course, women with scars were scared to do that because we're scared of what other people think of us. And, you know, we don't want that judgment from other people, right? So basically my spirit was just like kicking me and kicking me and kicking me to break free, because it's like, okay, you got to do something, because you can't live the rest of your life like this. Like you just can't. So after that, it took me 12 years to actually want to get out of my scar story, but it took me 7 months to actually start showing my scar. And so the question is, how did I do that? First of all, it's a process. It's not easy. It's not like you take a class and then, you know, you're wearing tank tops the next day. But my yearning to be free started to like overshadow my scar. So it's just like at some point I had to do it, right? And it took a lot of self-development. I literally did like 7-8 months of like continuous self-development. I went to 5 Tony Robbins seminars in a row. I read lots of books and meditation, journaling. Basically, I was on a quest to uncover like who I was inside, right? Because with a scar, it changes your identity. So you don't know like who you are with the scar. So I had to find out who I was with the scar, what the purpose of the scar was. And so, you know, that just kind of led me through that. And in that process, like I knew I couldn't be the only one that was going through this. There were other women out there going through the same thing. And so I wanted to help. It first started off like I wanted to create content and things that I needed to see, needed to hear, because like I needed inspiration, and I didn't know there were other people out there that was doing that. So it's like, I'm just gonna do it for myself, right? But then it's like, I can also do it for other people. So, so Scar Power is actually what came through to me after I got out of my own way. And so let me repeat that again. Scar Power is what came through to me after I got out of my own way. Because what we tend to do is we block ourselves. We restrict ourselves from life, from love, from opportunities. And it's like we have an umbrella up, which is our scar, and then we just block ourselves from the sky and all the things that's you know, that could be going on for us. Like we don't know what we're blocking ourselves from. We don't know what kind of life we can have or what guy is waiting for us in the wings, but we're so focused on our scar, you know. So, you know, my purpose is to help women move through their blocks and help to free themselves. And so a few different offerings that I have as a part of Scar Power. I have a Scarlight platform, which is a feature article every month of a woman who wants to share her scar story. Because I didn't want the company to just be about me, like you guys. I'm sure you guys see me on social media, but like I didn't want every day a picture of me like, hey, I'm here, I have a scar. So I'm like, how can I incorporate other women out there as well? So I have the Scarlight platform, which I do once a month because I believe our stories help heal and provide inspiration. You know, if someone is going through something that you're going through and you see them get through it, it's like, you know, I can too. I can do that too because she did it, right? So that's the reason I did Scarlights. I have a community called Scars to Confidence. It's a Facebook group where I meet and connect with a lot of different beautiful women. Here's where I find a lot of the Scarlights, you know, women who want to be featured. And, you know, we just do different events and things in the group as well. I have a blog where I share like stories and things that are going on with me at a certain time that I want to discuss. I have the Scar Talk webinars, which you are on here now. I think this is my 5th one. I think Nicole's been in 2 of them already. The first one I actually did 3, 4. I know, right? 4. Okay. She's always on here. So say hi to Nicole. And the first one I actually did was with my doctor of 14 years. So I asked him to talk and he's like, oh my God, sure, I'll do it. So you could go back and watch a replay on that because we did one on keloids and hypertrophic scars. I'll also do special events. I did a model scars photo shoot where I, you know, got a couple of women together who just to get together and show our scars, right? Show the world that we're not just our scars, we're still beautiful women. We still got it, right? We got dressed up, we did makeup. And so, you know, that's something that I'm looking to bring back soon as well. I'm not exactly sure when, but if you're interested in that, you know, let me know because it takes a lot of planning, but that was a fun event for us to do. And last but not least, I have my coaching program, which is like a labor of love. It's I've been working on this program for like 6 months, and Nicole can attest to that too, because she went through one of the pilot programs. So, and then I kind of switched up and changed it. So, but the program is called Preparing for Love, and it's an 8-week coaching program. And it is to prepare women with scars for intimate love, right? Because we're insecure about our scars, about ourselves. We settle in relationships because we think that's the only person we can get. We settle for treatment that is below us. So, and it's not only for women with physical scars, it helps you to heal from emotional scars as well. So women from past relationships that have their block up, they got that umbrella up against love. And so I had to go through both. I had to go through, you know, being a woman with a physical scar and also healing and going through past relationships, a marriage of 13, 14 years that didn't work out. So I'm in the situation right now, like I'm preparing for love, for my highest vibrational relationship, because I just don't want anybody. I've had those type of relationships, right? So I have learned a lot creating this program, and this has certainly helped me to build more confidence around relationships and love. Because the first half of the program is actually built on teaching self-love, right? Because that's the foundation. You know, you need to like understand who you are at your core, what your patterns, your fears, your preconceptions about love, the traumas that are blocking you from love. And the second half is about, you know, what do you need to know for a successful conscious relationship, right? Like, what do you actually want in and out of a relationship? Who do you want? So as part of that program, we actually create what I call a love blueprint. So you can like get really detailed on who it is and what it is that you want in a relationship. And it's also preparing you to receive someone that aligns with the you that you will figure out who you are in the program. Because we feel unworthy with our scars, we feel less than, we have trouble receiving. So it helps you to unblock your receiving channel as well. And the overall program is to help you understand your value, release all the things that are holding you back, your self-doubt, your self-sabotage, your vulnerability, and then get clarity on what it is that you really want. Because love is energy and love is for everyone, not just those without scars. And you just have to learn to tap into it. And it all starts with self-love first. So to learn more about the program or anything that I've stated so far, you can check out my website at scarpower.co, and you can contact me there or any of my social media at scarpowerco. So that is the end of my spiel. If anyone have any questions for me before we move on to our first speaker, Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ladies, if you have any questions for me, we can go there too. Let's see. How do I open this chat? Okay, so let's see if I see any questions coming through. Okay, so no questions at this time. So what we are going to do is go to our first speaker, and we are going to go to Marcia Joy, the founder of Perfectly Scarred. It's an organization to empower burn survivors to show their scars and authenticity. So Marcia, welcome. Thank you for joining. We are waiting to hear from you.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Sorry.
Ah, yeah, no problem.
Started talking, I was like, I think I need to unmute. But hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Amir, for having me. I am honored to be a part. When you first asked me, I was like, oh my gosh, I would really love to. So thank you so much. And as she stated, I am Marcia, or like my first and middle name I go by is Marcia Joy, and I am the founder of Perfectly Scarred. And Perfectly Scarred is a nonprofit foundation for burn survivors, specifically pediatric burn survivors. We encourage, we engage, and we empower burn survivors to embrace the fact that their skin may be scarred, but that their goals and their personal potential are not, so that we want them to reach their goals and know that they can still be all that they desire to be. Sometimes we allow our looks, we allow the outside, we allow the internal scars to stop us and sabotage ourselves from achieving all that we want to. And the way that we do that is by doing something very simple. We send PS packages to burn survivors on their journey while they're healing, no matter what size their scar may be, no matter if they were burned recently or in the past. We like to focus on those that are 18 and under because we're starting young. I want them to see that we are adults with scars and that we are doing those things that we were called to do, that we can be successful, that we can find love, that we can live a full life. And by us doing that, we want to encourage them to show their scars so that we can redefine the beauty standard in America and across the waters, because a standard of beauty is truly only defined by one person being bold enough to say something and another person agreeing with them. That's it. So we are to set the standard. And so we want to encourage young people, especially children, show those scars. Don't cover them up, because I myself was burned at 14 months old by a single cup of coffee. So one of the facts that I love to let people know is that coffee is actually one of the number one liquids that burns children. So a cup of coffee is typically served around 190 degrees, but it really only takes you reaching the boiling point of water to sustain a 3rd-degree burn for exposure for 3 seconds. So imagine 190 degrees falling on a child who has on a onesie and a cute little romper. And my mom turns around and sees that I'm screaming and grabs me. And because she didn't know what to do, she actually held the heat in and the clothes began to melt into my skin. So today I have my shirt on to expose my skin, and you can't see it that much, but I actually, part of my left breast is melted. And so growing up, as Amira was talking, I said, she experienced it at the adult age. I began this at a very young age before I even was able to formulate an idea of what beauty was. And so my idea of beauty was formed by those around me. I spent about 21 years in crew necks and turtlenecks and cardigans and going to the pool with t-shirts on and getting in the water and then taking it off once I got in the water, made sure my towel was right there once I got out, simply because I was told that, "Oh, you're so pretty, Marcia, but what's wrong with your chest?" And so in love, after my joke skin, what we call compression garments now, came off, and I went back to school, and I was taking my first set of pictures after taking off my garments and going to have my first photos done. I'm standing to the side, so it's only showing my left side. And I actually asked my mom maybe a few years ago. I was like, why am I standing to the side? Do I have any pictures of me in the hospital with my scars? And she said, "Oh, no, I made sure that they only took pictures of you from your left side because I didn't want anyone to tease you." And so, out of her love and protection, she didn't realize that she was grooming me to cover up. So I spent all those years in turtlenecks, in crew necks, and it was like a breath of fresh air when I put on a V-neck. And it wasn't until the year of my 30th birthday that I actually wore a strapless dress, that I actually took my arms out, and I was like, it is hot. And I started to truly embrace the fullness of who I was. And we want children to know you don't have to suffer, that you are beautiful, that you are more than what you look like. You are more than other people's opinions. And we want to seed and water those good thoughts into young people to let them know that you define who you are. And so something that we also do is we give photo shoots to children so that they can actually embrace and see I can be 5 years old and wear this doctor's outfit if I want to, because that's what I want to be when I grow up. We want them to be able to see themselves in the future. Something else that I also do that's very dear to my heart is I personally volunteer as a staff social worker for Great Lakes Burn Camp, which is a burn camp for children under 18 to go and just be free, and it's absolutely 100% free for every child to participate. They will drive big haul of a big truck up there full of brand new items. If a child doesn't have a bathing suit, if they don't have a comb for their hair, if they need anything, hey, go shopping in the truck. And you can go sledding, go swimming, all of those things. And so we want you to live a full life. So the biggest things that we do is we send smiles to survivors through our PS packages. And recently we launched our PS packages for parents while children are in the hospital recovering. The focus is on their child. We want the parents to know that they're not forgotten about and that we think about them, and it includes body wash and things like that so that the parents have something to do and they have something to care for themselves while they're there sitting at their child's bedside.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like, and I talked to you before. I'm like, one of the things that I want to do is to scar power kids at some point, because for the reasons that you just mentioned, right? Because
Mhm.
it is different having this scar, as an adult, right? Because I didn't grow up with it, and I don't know, I don't know if it's easier or not easier, but it's definitely different growing up as a kid, I'm sure, as you know, where beauty is defined for you. So then you have to like cover up your entire life, right?
Mhm.
And not get that programming that you're still beautiful. You can still take pictures, you can, do
Yes.
whatever you want to do, right? So I commend you. That is so awesome. I love that.
Thank you. We want the voices. We want children to know that you have to speak it over yourself. It has to be spoken in your household because there's more people that live outside your house than
Yes,
there are inside. And so if we're not seeding that at home, the world is going to be the one that waters. We want to
exactly.
make sure that we water children at home and that they see us. And so honestly, my biggest thing is that I have a quote, and I wrote this down years ago, and I stand by it, is that all of our flaws are flawless, every imperfection is perfect, and every scar is proof that we have endured, so and that we've survived, so that we can tell the story to essentially help someone else. So
Yes.
even when I didn't embrace the fact that I really don't have like a cleavage line, or that my breast is melted, and will I ever be able to have children and breastfeed, or it shows up in what do I do on a first date because my scar is considered hidden. I want people to know that the flaws and the scars, ours are just visible. The ones that are actually ugly are the ones people hide that aren't healed on the inside.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're actually brave, we're bold, we're beautiful, we are
Yes.
gorgeous. We can be any and everything that we want to be. It's the mind that has to change.
It is. And and I was just thinking like we're a different breed in the fact that like we, like our physical image, we may be scarred or whatever, but that allows us to like go deeper and build a different kind of confidence
Yeah.
versus like, oh, I just look pretty. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's like you gotta dig in deeper, you gotta get more. And then that just builds that confidence to a level where it's like, I don't care what y'all say.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for my scar now. I mean, before it wasn't always like this, but like it's done some things. So yeah. But yeah, thank you, Marcia. I appreciate you. And that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's see. If you guys have any questions for us, you can go ahead and put it in. Otherwise, I will continue on. I don't see any questions at the moment, but let me just double check. Q&A. Okay, so no questions. All right, so we will keep this moving. Next up, we have Nicole Solomon from Scarred and Free. She's the founder of Scarred and Free, a keloid advocacy community. So talk to us about that, Nicole.
Yes. So Scarred and Free is a global activism hub. My goal is to disrupt the current state of treatment and research so that we can have more funding for better treatment modalities. You mentioned earlier that you've been getting steroid injections for 14 years. My efforts is to fix that, as well as build a community around the idea of being keloid warriors. When I first started Scarred and Free in 2019, it was an extension of my efforts from 2017. I would post people from around the world. I was on Instagram and I would find a warrior in Belgium. And I'm like, I have a keloid, you have a keloid, let me post you. And I would call them warriors. And the series would be Warrior of the Week. And in 2017, I met 8 keloid warriors. And to date, I've probably met thousands now once I took away the Warrior of the Week series and made Scarred and Free. Scarred and Free started as a podcast, actually. I wanted people to hear our stories because if we're not careful with certain conditions, especially those that govern minorities, the narrative won't be ours. We won't own the truth. It'll be controlled by other people. And I didn't want people to own the stories of the keloid warriors. So I started a podcast and so many people rallied behind me that I wanted to document us. That was the first time I wanted to document warriors in a way where it was about being transparent about the condition, not being so positive about it that it was toxic, but being real about it. It wasn't something that was fun for us. We are, and some of us were, and some of us are insecure about it. We were hiding, including me. I had a whole platform with thousands of followers, empowering everyone, and I was crumbling on the inside. I was hiding behind my keloid. It's on my chest. It's like 3 inches. I'm trying to show it, but there it is. And it grows over time. So when I first started, it was this little speck. So it was easy for me to be like, yeah, just be confident. But once it started to hit me, and once I started looking at myself in the mirror and seeing my scar, I was like, okay, I'm not as confident as I thought, and I don't feel beautiful. And I'm trying to build a community up, and I'm suffering. And so I really sat down with myself in 2020. This was a year after I launched Scarred and Free. And I took a break because I realized I was living in my scar story. I wouldn't date. I wouldn't wear a bathing suit. I don't show it. I felt like the fat, ugly, scarred friend. So I didn't want to go out in public. I didn't want to socialize in the summer. I didn't want to post pictures online. I just wanted to talk about other people and hide. And it took a lot of self-reflection in 2020 and 2021. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to really work towards this because I'm going into my 30s. It's killed my 20s. I can't get those back. I don't want to live another decade like this. We grow up scarred. When you develop keloids, it starts during puberty. So you go through middle school and high school scarred and different. Those are the years when you might be bullied. People look at you in a way. They might tease you. And then you go into adulthood so insecure. I think that's the thing about keloids is if it was just a regular scar that really didn't grow or protrude off the skin, some of us might be okay. But due to the nature of the condition, it's invasive. And so you just grow up more insecure because over time the scar doesn't necessarily heal and stop. And so I had to realize that it was easier for me to love myself with a smaller keloid, but it started to get harder as it grew. And I realized that I had to find a way to live with this condition because I'm one of the warriors that won't seek treatment due to the fact that I'm not confident in the current landscape of medicine. So I know that was a lot. I just wanted to give y'all a background about me on why I am here today and how Scarred and Free actually functions right now post my breakdown in 2020. Kim, I don't know if you remember it, but you know your girl crumbled. You remember a little bit? Well, the Warriors, they had to hold me. For the first time in 3 years, I needed the Warriors to hold me up because I was done. And the truth is, it's still hard for me at 32. I don't want to get on here and lie or try to be what I'm not. I've never been that woman. That's one thing I'll say about my efforts. It's always been about authenticity and being vulnerable and real. I don't polish it for anything. I don't mask it. I'm not going to say that it's always easy for us or me, but I will say that I know that it doesn't. I'm still worthy, though I have scars, and I'm still a beautiful person with scars. But it's still a hard condition to carry sometimes. So as of today, the woman that I am is not the woman from 2021. I do have more confidence to show up in spaces that I once was fearful of. I still have anxiety when I show up. A lot of this is new for me. Though I have a platform and though I have a fight in me, some things are still hard for me as I navigate this space of being scarred for life. And as I navigate a scar that continues to grow over time. But Scarred and Free now serves as like I said, an activism hub, but really a community platform where it's like a documentary. I want people to get access to us in a way that really controls the narrative of the condition. But I also want to provide historical context so that when we do add our stories to this journey, it's just an extension of what's already been written. We are very fortunate to be able to live in a digital age where we have visibility so that we can be transparent and authentic around our scar stories. So that when you look down 100 years from now, people know that women like us with scars, we made it through. When I do my research about keloid skin, I go back thousands of years ago. I sit and I'm like, wow, I bet they would be surprised to see where we are today, the origins of how we started, how medicine has progressed, but the struggles that we still face. So I'm more of an activist in this space because I really want to shift change. And sometimes I'm radical. Amira tell you, I'll go off on a dermatologist and then I have to call and try to make amends and but I care about my community so much that I'm like the mama for them. I want what's best. I truly believe in treatment. That's why I want to disrupt the current state of it. And I also want my warriors to feel loved and seen. And for me, I want to feel loved and seen as well, but mostly self-love. I never had that growing up. I just discovered that last year. So I'm only a year into my self-love journey, but I'm happy to be here and be on it. It makes me a stronger activist for my platform. I can already see my vision unfolding for the warriors. It makes me feel confident that there is hope for us who struggle so much with the condition. And now I can speak from a place of victory instead of defeat. I used to war from defeat 3 years ago. I had a fight, but I didn't really have confidence. But now I know that I'll make it through and there'll be positive movement from my platform moving forward. And I'm trying to look at your questions, Amir, because you did give us 5 questions. I want to follow the rules.
Oh, I no, we'll do that at the end. We'll do that at the
I'm
end.
not following the rules. I'm still not following them. Okay. But at least they were in my head. But
Good.
yeah,
We'll do that at the
that's
end.
more of what I do. I have keloids. I want to tell you how many, but a warrior said something so powerful to me that we can't quantify how many scars we have, because with this condition, some grow and merge into each other and become one. Some of the warriors have keloids on 70% of their body. I aim to fight for the severe cases in this world. Again, I'm very careful with my words. I do not want to eradicate the fact that there is a need for keloid skin research. There's a true need for it, in addition to confidence as you wear them. For some warriors, it's easy, some it isn't. So I aim to serve both sides, the people who can go out and be confident with it, and the people who are truly struggling and need help.
Right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. So I will tell you, I don't know if I mentioned this in this session or in our little pre-session, but so Nicole was actually the first founder that I met. You know, she hit me up on Instagram when I started my Scar Power. She was like, "Oh, another warrior! I'm so happy
And
to
she's
see
so
you."
pretty. So I was like, hey girl.
And it's funny because like I didn't see her. Like, you know, like she said, she was posting pictures of everybody else. And I'm like, okay, like, who are you? Like, which one are you? And she's like, oh, you know, I don't really show myself. So I will attest to Nicole that Nicole have grown so much since I have first met you. Like she's starting to like show her scars, you know, she's starting to date a little bit. So
A little bit, it is not right.
but you're getting there. You're
All
getting
that
there.
dating sucks.
But I'm just saying, like, you are really doing it. So it's just so excited to see like where you are and where you're going and what that will later entail for Scarred and Free. So
Yeah.
that is awesome. And Nicole is one of my good friends. I mean, we talk like what, 2 or 3 times a month
I'm always
about different things.
Yes. I'm like, now what do you think I should do? Because
Right. But it's all good. I love it. But thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate
You're
all the work that you're
welcome.
doing for us because I'm a part of that, you know, keloid scar community. You know, and I do want to mention too that the keloid, I do have other keloids, like smaller keloids in different parts of my body, but they can easily come from like acne. Yeah,
All of
acne.
mine are from acne.
I have 3 small ones underneath this one that just come from acne. So they're still out there, they're still growing. So like I have to be really careful about my skin, or when I see a pimple, it's like, you know, it could be a cause for trouble. So
yeah, when we get pimples, I like to say this, when we get pimples, we're stressed. I'm not even going y'all. We're like, Lord, don't you start.
Yeah, I literally have like 6 or 7 tiny little pimples on the side of my jaw here, just from like keloids. They just show up, and it's like, goodness gracious. But anyway, but thank you, Nicole, for all your research. Hopefully, you know, there will be more research and treatment options for us, because it is a struggle. It is a struggle. I mean, I'm more confident with my scar now, but you know, it's hasn't always been that way. So thank you for all that you do. I appreciate you. And later we'll do the questions. So, oh, you know what? So in the chat, there is a question for you, Nicole. It says, and I think you've kind of answered it, but it says, Nicole, are you still not confident with your scar? And she says, I asked because your scar is covered. She said, I had open chest surgery in 2017. My scar is 6 inches long and 3 inches wide, and it's raised. And this is from Abora Baker.
Honey, the truth is, I have on a branded shirt, melanin. Y'all can't even see it. That's a problem. Melanin and keloids. I wanted to wear my Scarred and Free apparel. I forgot that I should have had a top that showed, and everybody came on here showing their scars. That is the reason why mine is out. On one of Amir's others webinars, my scar is out. I wore it out. So I am not afraid to show it in settings like this, even online. Now, in person, I do get a little bit more anxious. It's just because more so it's new, not because I'm actually afraid of the public gaze. I think I'm getting to a point to where that doesn't matter to me anymore. But it's just, I have anxiety in general. I mean, it can rain, I'm anxious. So I just get anxious because it's new. But I'm upset that I didn't show it. And I'm upset that you can't even see what I'm trying to show you. But I just want to show you it's called
We can see
marketing.
it. We can see
I
it.
wanna
Yeah,
show you
we see it. It's cute. And so actually she has a follow-up question. She says, what are you doing to build your confidence? And what is the name of your podcast?
The podcast is on SoundCloud and it's just at Scarred and Free. If you're on Instagram, go to the Scarred and Free page and you look at the link in my bio, and it'll have the petition, the podcast, and all of the other content that I posted. And what I do to build my confidence, number one, is I free myself from the public gaze. I do not worry about that as much. I think sometimes we don't want to admit that a lot of confidence issues, it is self, but some of it is caring about what people will think. And that's just the truth of it. So that's been my work, not thinking about how people view me and my body. And in certain clothes, I would only wear sweat. I wouldn't even show my arms like this. I would feel my arms were too big. I mean, I wouldn't even do that. But starting to wear shorter sleeves, shorts, and I will go outside and just walk and have my scar out. And in addition to just being visible, also learning how to take care of myself from a mental, spiritual, and physical perspective. I don't think we know how to take care of ourselves and have fun. We live in a society that you churn and burn, you work, you don't really sit down and say, what can I do to have fun? Or how can I take care of myself? Or how am I taking care of myself? So I always ask myself every day, today, what is one thing you can do to take care of yourself? That makes me confident because it keeps the eyes on self and it's not about me. And I don't say, let me lose weight so I can get a man. I just say, let's work out because it's what's best for me. Or let me eat this because it's good for my organs. Or let me wear this because I like it. I don't give power to the other side of self. And that's what I do.
Man, that's
I
awesome.
think she liked me because she's asking me all kind of questions.
And she said, thank you. So we
You're
also
welcome.
have a comment from Thorn Len, and she says, this is amazing, fantastic work, guys. We need more individuals like you to continue doing what you're doing. Many thanks for this wonderful webinar. So glad to see people overcome what I have been struggling with. Means the world to me. Thank you. You're very welcome, Thorn. We appreciate you for joining. And yeah, thank you. So yeah, guys, just keep the comments coming. And we are going to go to our next speaker. And this actually wasn't planned, but it's very good because she is a scarred and free warrior, keloid warrior as well. Kimberly Barrett, she is the founder of God's Into Details, is a platform to honor the beautifully scarred. So Kim, I know you have been itching to talk because I see you over there like,
How about this? I am somebody who I'm listening so passionately to all of you, and almost it feels like y'all are talking to me because I don't know who said it, but you don't get an opportunity to actually talk to other people who understand what you're going through. Mm-hmm. Maybe just like somebody has a little bit of acne and it clears off and they're like, oh, my pimple. And then you're right. You're like, it's the same, but not really the same. So talking with you all, I'm excited. It's excitement. It's just excitement. The whole time both of you are talking, I'm like, and taking notes about what you're all saying because it's just so relatable. And I should have actually got tissues because y'all are going to make me cry too.
oh,
with this vulnerability and just being in this space. And I know I'm supposed to be a panelist, but also I am a keloid warrior as well.
Yes.
So your stories are impacting me, even just being in this space. So yes, I'm excited. Yay.
Yay, awesome.
So my background story, as I said, I'm Kimberly Barrett, and I am from Sumter, South Carolina in the US. I know we might even have some listeners outside of the United States. I'm 30 years old, and kind of like Amira, what kind of brought me into this space was Nicole and me posting, I think, a picture that might have shown like my scar, and I had started hashtagging, hoping, Amira, to find other people who had scarred skin too. And Nicole was right in the inbox. Hey girl, I got scars too. You want to join? You want to meet? And like all this stuff. And I was like, yeah. And I started to look at her page. And that's when I started seeing pictures of other people who had scars. And I, like you said, Amira, my mind was blown to go almost, at that time, I was 26, 27 years old, and you've never really met other people that look like you. That's isolating. That's incredibly isolating. But the backstory, I got my first scar on my arm, and this was when I was 7 years old, and I had the chicken pox. And you got the chicken pox all over your body, and you're trying not your best not to scratch or whatever. So they all started to go away, but this one. And my parents were like, "Well, is that one not going away?" And they thought, okay, maybe it'll go away. Well, years later, when it still had not gone away. And now I'm a teenager, like Nicole said, most, if not all, my scars are from acne. Just the acne started coming in, and it was like one here or there, but then it started hitting just full force. And like we're on a call, so they are all on my back and shoulders, and kind of like you said, they kind of mold together in some places and spaces, and that is okay. But that was very hard for me. And like some of you have said, that started in a time where you're not sure what beauty is and what beauty means, and you're kind of just like winging it. And with, I would say, children, I think it was easy to feel like making fun of people makes you popular. So it's almost like you were an easy target, like no matter what, you looked different, therefore you were a target for, let me just make fun of this person. And I just don't really know, I didn't know what to really do with that. So also, like you all said, I feel like I worked on personality. I was just like, hey, be the person that you are, and let that be. I also danced growing up, still occasionally dancing. So it wasn't like I could necessarily hide my scars, and my dance teacher would not necessarily even let me. If it was leotard time, it was leotard time. When it came to costumes, she didn't care. Let's do these tank tops. Let's do these shoulder offs. Let's do, I don't know where all of you have keloid scars, but I have them chest, shoulders, private area, and all across the buttocks. That's where my keloid scars are. So when it was, our costume is briefs. I'm like, now they're going to see them on my butt. Oh my gosh. So it was like, I was almost in a way forced to show my scars at an early age in a way. But even then I wasn't paying attention to it. I was like, you just gotta have to do it. And then when it's over, put things back on. And when I got to college, I thought, okay, it might be a little bit better. Maybe this is the time to start trying to do this. Like you all, it is 100 degrees outside, and at the beach, I was wearing sweaters. I was wearing cardigans. All my friends are out. Woo! They're bathing suits, and I think they look great. And I feel like I look great too, but literally the motion of pulling off the cardigan, y'all know how that feels. The motion of it, immediately I go, well, maybe sweating's not that bad. Maybe sweating's not that bad. And I would put it right back on, because I couldn't deal up here. That also being your first experience away from home, didn't date like that. So like, I want to be out here. I want to be talking to the men's like my friends are, because I felt like I was pretty. I felt like I was like, hey, I want to do this too. But how about this? I thought to myself, okay, maybe people don't care as much. My experience was when my confidence started to butt a little bit. And then there was somebody in college that there was a guy, I guess, that liked me or whatever. He calls me drunk, as they do, and he's talking to me, and he says something about one of his friends saying that he shouldn't date me. I said, why? She got all those tags on her. That was 2013. It's getting, and this is just after I thought, nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is a person that was in my classes. Like, so I would see this person and I had no idea that they thought that of me, because you wouldn't know. That introduced a level of distrust when I was like 20 years old, that people, it's not that people didn't care, it's that they cared, they just weren't saying it to you. And then that just started it. I almost regressed. Like, that's when I hate turtlenecks. Now we're wearing turtlenecks. Like, I don't want nothing out from that experience. But I, like you, Amira, did not want to be trapped or feel trapped. It kind of just started getting to a point where, like, I am desiring, there's a woman or a version of myself that I am desiring to be, but I'm like, you can't, I was telling myself that I could not. You can't be that, because this is what society has told you is beautiful. this is what society has told you is feminine. This is what society tells you what a woman is. And if you don't fit into this, then that's that. So I was seeing this version of myself that I just felt like I can't. Well, kind of like you said, it started, the summers were getting hotter, the bed getting cold because I am lonely. Not really like that, y'all. I'm saying, but I'm saying I started to go, ooh, I want to date. I want to wear these clothes. I want to wear outfits that show off figure. I feel like I almost dressed like a tomboy, not because I was an actual tomboy, but I really wanted to, in case, just in case. Just wanted to, and I don't even like the phrase tomboy, but at the time that was a term. Now I would just say I would wear looser clothing. I would just wear looser clothing because even the thought of somebody seeing the imprints, because they're raised, right? The imprints from tight clothes, I could not. I also noticed, and I know I might be rambling, but hey, this is my spot. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. There would also be times where I felt like, let's do an experiment right quick. So in the summertime, I would wear certain things, and then I would see how they would talk to me, how they would approach me, what eyes would be doing. And then how about this? I wasn't a party girl, y'all, but I was going out. I could get the data is all I'm saying. I could get the data. So I would be going out wearing specifically certain things on purpose. I would look, then I'd wear something that covered 3 times the people. Hey, and that started to really get me. And it almost felt insulting when other people would tell me, nobody's looking, nobody cares. And I'm like, I'm telling you, they are looking. I know they're looking. I can feel them looking. I can see I know what's going on. But after a point, I started to get I'm tired of this. I am exhausted doing all of this. And like I said, Nicole found me. I had told her, hey, I've been wanting to make my own platform. And Nicole put the fire under my tail and was like, do it. And if Nicole putting the fire under my tail wasn't enough, it was COVID. You can't distract yourself with doing anything. You got to stay home. Do you want to pursue this? And so that was what made me birth God's Into Details. And what I was thinking about is that we are all God's beautiful creations and we all look so differently. And if we are, what people say is that, oh, we're made in his image, then this is his image and I am beautiful. This is then the image and I am beautiful. And these are just my details. And that doesn't stop me from doing absolutely anything. So I was just saying that God's into the details, and God is in the detail. And this is the detail of my skin. And something that I was thinking about with keloids is that I'm not gonna say they never stop growing, but like you said, they kind of just don't stop growing. And I realized that I'm gonna also have to be as resilient as my scars. I have to keep growing. I am going to have to keep just growing and learning and growing in my confidence because they're not going to stop growing. So I have to change. And like Nicole said, I'm not somebody who is seeking treatment. This is a space, right? I'm terrified. I'm terrified of treatment. I'm terrified to do anything, like you said, that would make it double, like things double and triple in size. And so my platform's focus more so is lifestyle. Like, what is your lifestyle with clothing? And I would still say that it's in its infancy, and especially because it started during the pandemic, there's just different avenues that I would like to take it. But so far it's been more of a personal vlog, like let me get out these emotions because I know other people are feeling the same way. It's encouragement for people. I would like to say both men and women, like I love that for both men and women who come and have scarred skin, so we can have those conversations. They get encouraged through that way. I've started more so now talking about skincare because, for example, maybe I wasn't understanding where my acne was coming from. So even now I'm working on content to just talk about how to take care of your skin with scarred skin and kind of what self-care looks like, what a prevention may look like, and just period, what does life look like if you're somebody who, even if you are seeking treatment, like you said, you're still going to have to be okay in here to even be receive the treatment. Because you could, how about this? I thought about this. If you could get rid of your scars today, the doctor was like, hey, we've got this, it's gone, would you do it? And then I thought to myself, actually my scars have been so much a part of my development and my character. I don't know at this point you can unmute. I don't think I would, because so actually so much a part of me now.
same.
Yeah, Nicole and I
And-
both had this conversation.
Yep, that's why I got off you. And then if I did do it, then I wouldn't have met the warriors. And I don't want to
I
have a
wouldn't met
life
you
where
all
I
by
don't have the
Right.
keloid warriors. So a part of the quote unquote suffering builds that endurance of in the end being grateful for what you've been through.
Right.
Amen. Just
Like,
amen to that.
Yeah, and I think our scars have purpose. Like, look at us right here today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I hadn't got out of my scar story and started this, like, we wouldn't even be talking. Like,
Yeah.
that is the purpose. And maybe it is to bring more love into the world for ourselves and accept ourselves, be authentic just as we are. And maybe that's the
Yeah.
reason that we have scars. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you
Amen.
just can't discount it. And I praise you, Kim, because you know, when I first started looking at your page, I'm like, my goodness, here I am thinking I'm doing something with my scars, and she just like out in baby
And
suits.
so
like,
I appreciate that.
game.
I appreciate that, but that's not what it requires to be a confident warrior. And I adopt Nicole because I feel like Nicole in a large way has pioneered all of this. And I want you to have those flowers. I wouldn't be doing this without you. And I love you and I thank you.
I love,
Oh,
don't do me
awesome.
down on time.
I'm just saying, but I'm saying we're all in this different area. So I don't want anybody to think because you are not in a place to show your scars or wear the clothes that you are not already waking up every day and confidently attacking your life. You are winning. You are confident to do the things. And I don't want anybody to think because I post pictures like that sometimes I don't cry before wearing a short sleeve shirt to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I do.
That and
Don't,
that is
don't think it's
powerful.
just like, oh, she made it. That's it. No,
Right.
it's an everyday talking to yourself, loving on yourself. Like Nicole said, when I started to turn my focus more so inward, like, and
Yes.
I had this like sense of, hey, since you're not getting treatment, that means your scar is going to be with you forever, right? Right. Do you want to live like this forever? No. Then what are you going to do about it? And that is
Exactly.
actively doing things that make me more comfortable with my own scars, which has been, I don't know about you all here, but I did not look at I wasn't in the mirror looking at myself probably until I was like 27. It has got to a point where they were popping up so frequently and everywhere and just growing that I kind of started doing a blindness.
Same. I hear.
Yeah, a blindness to even just like where you are supposed to be in your absolute birthday suit, and you should be able to see it out the shower. Blindness. I couldn't see a thing because I couldn't do it. I couldn't look. And I know that they're mainly on my back. So y'all, I wouldn't even turn around. There could be a man living on my back. I wouldn't even know. Because I don't want to look back there to see what's going on. But I said to myself, and some of you who have followed me have maybe even seen these, what really pushed it, and nobody has to do this, but Marcia does it for your children of your program, is I did a photo shoot for myself. And I did it and I was nervous, and it was with a photographer who was one of my childhood friends. And they were so willing to do this for me. I did it at my brother's apartment. He has an extra room, and we got it all set up, and she wanted to make it special for me. So she had mimosas, she had incense, she just made it just like this special thing. And I was so nervous, and we started to do it. And then in the middle of the shoot, she's like, here, this is what it looks like. And this would be my first time seeing it. Immediate tears. I probably don't stop crying. I don't know how long it was, but I could not stop crying because I'd never seen my back. You never actually look at your scars. You don't know what you actually look like. And in regard to like dating and intimacy, for example, how can I expect anybody else to want this if I'm not looking at it? If I don't look at my body and take care of my body and touch my own body and feel it, how will I be comfortable with other touch and other people looking at me if I don't do it myself? So that is
absolutely
currently still now, right now, even when I'm posting the pictures, great. I go back in my room and be like, do you look okay? I am working. It's a thing, but something that helps me is definitely taking more time to look at self, more time to moisturize and just massage my scars. And just when I say touch myself, I do mean familiarizing myself with touch, because I don't know about you all, even just somebody hugging me, I would flinch because in my brain, I'm like, if they feel the scar, they're going to be like, what is that? So I wouldn't even really, Don't do any of that. But since then, I feel definitely way more confident. And I would attribute that to, and I'll say it again, just Nicole bringing me into the community of keloid scarring. And I feel so much more confident knowing there are other people who are just like me that I can encourage, they can encourage me in return. And just that's what my goal, just for God's into details is like, hey, you deserve that lifestyle. You deserve to be seen fully for who you are. You deserve to take pictures that you feel good about. You deserve, as a woman, as women say, you deserve to feel feminine. You deserve to feel sexy. These are not things that are exclusive, like they are not excluded from us, but we exclude ourselves from.
Absolutely.
If we don't, and I understand that there are external factors because we have a whole beauty industry that's like, here, you have a pimple, here's some cream to take it away. They make it seem like our scar is imperfection, kind of like you said, like, hey, here are creams to get rid of. Here are the things to get rid of. There's always stuff to get rid of things. So as a scar person, how do you think that makes us feel that people are super hyper fixated on not having, like, I can't have anything. I can't have anything. And we have to battle that every day for what we look like. So I want to be part of the history of, I am a Black woman who has scarred skin and I look damn good.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and that is, and kudos to you. I mean, it's a process, right? And I know you don't feel confident every day, but you are doing it. You know what I mean? Like you are here and you are doing it. So, and even with me, like, I don't show my scars all the time. I mean, one reason is that I'm in Arizona and the sun out here is different.
It's different.
So,
yeah.
so you know, with the scar and the sun, it don't always
sunscreen
mix. Yes.
Yeah,
so
apparently I have to buy sunscreen now and cover these constantly, because now you're gonna wear them out to make sure you're protecting them and stuff.
Exactly.
And something that I want to say that I want to say it to everyone on your journey of like accepting self, and maybe even in my arena, I'll just stick to my arena, lifestyle, maybe clothing, fashion, different things that you may be doing. We are operating. I know some of you, I've talked to some people who are actually in the audience and I see them, they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's this summer, I'm going to do it. Or later on, I'm going to do it. We operate under the assumption that we have the time. We operate under the assumption that I have until the summer. We don't know when our time is. Saying we don't know when time is. We don't know what's going to happen. And also, for all we know, if you have scarred skin, this is the amount of keloids and the size that they're going to be right now. And if I'm not okay right now, they're going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to come. So it's like, I have to be as relentless with going after the lifestyle that I want and feeling loving self as my scars are relentless and coming and showing up. So that's why I want to continuously show up. And I also, last thing is I make myself available to have conversations with people, because sometimes just the journey is, I need somebody to talk to maybe once a month, talk about what I've done this month or some challenges that I've had, just a soundboard or somebody to give advice. So I'm always open to people messaging. I've done phone calls, just not necessarily counseling, because I am in no way a counselor, but it's just like somebody to one-on-one talk with about whatever's going on, whatever you want to talk about. So that's what I make myself available for too.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. Like you're such an inspiration. I mean, all you ladies are, but just to, one of the things that you said was like taking pictures, right? So when I was younger, like I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to dance for Janet Jackson, and like Usher, like, and I wanted to be a model. So, and I actually was a Baltimore Ravens cheerleader back in the day. So it's like I had that identity, right? I had that you know, I'm cute or whatever. So when I got this scar, like it took me down a couple points. So I thought like my whole modeling thing, taking pictures was like over. It was dead until, you know, I got here and it's like, you know what? I don't care about this scar. So that's one of the reasons why I did the model scars photo shoot, is because you have to like build yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still take pictures. You are still beautiful. So let's do it. Let's go. And the time thing is perfect, because you're right. We don't know how much time we have. And I wasted 12 years. I think Marcia, she wasted 20 years. So you wasted, what, 20 years of just not being able to live and show your scars and like wear tank tops or shirts that show your scars, but like, how much better does it feel now? It's like, I don't really care.
There's a certain pressure off, and I don't want to, because I
Yeah.
also don't want to say like wait. I like the word waste, but I don't want to say waste because those were the years that still were important for me to be. If I didn't have those years, I wouldn't be able to do this right now. But I
Right.
do mean waste in the sense of like, now that I'm doing it, I'm like, girl, do you know how much cooler you are on the beach without wearing a long sleeve shirt? Apparently, if you just wear the bathing suit, you'll
Right.
you'll feel all right.
Right.
So it was more about focusing on like how I felt as opposed to how I think others feel around me. How do I feel
Right.
around everybody else? Y'all better be making
Mhm.
sure y'all making me comfortable, okay? And not the other way,
Right.
and not the other way around. And one more thing, you were so. There is one more thing you said, and I wanted to speak to it, but now it's gone because I'm just so excited and I'm just so happy with all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I thank you, Kim. Like, you are amazing. You guys follow Kim. I'll actually, in the follow-up email, like, I'll send out like all of you guys' details and Instagram platforms and everything so people can follow you and know you, because you're all just amazing. And thank you so much. So we'll have our questions at the end. But next we have Amiana Germany, and she is the founder of Women with Scars, and she helps to support women and I think men as well in their scar journeys. And she also has a makeup line, which is blowing up. So Amiana, tell us about yourself and what you're doing in the scar community.
Hello, you guys. I am so excited to be here with you guys tonight. Um, I really don't do too many Zoom, meetings, but mainly I do a lot of conferences here. Um, my name is Amiana. I'm from Louisiana. At age 2, I was burned in an electric house fire. It caused 75% of my body to be burned. I'm burned like from literally from the bottom of my feet to, as you can see, my hands. I'm burned like from here down, basically. Um, but I started Women with Scars mission group on. It was more like, to me, I felt like it was a safe place for myself because once I started the group, we also do conferences where we allow other women with scars, not only visible scars, because all scars are not visible. We allow all different women from different type of areas to get up to speak on their behalf of what they have battled. It can be domestic abuse. Like myself, a burn survivor. We have cancer survivors that speak as well. But in our conferences, we kind of just give them that platform to vent, and we have other people out in the audience. But with you being as comfortable as you is, because it's someone right there with you, like we are today, because it's someone in the area, you feel more safer to vent to them, and you're not looking outside in that crowd of people. You're not looking out there. You're comfortable to speak on that, and that's where that's how I started the missions group. Mainly what we do is we do help out in the communities. We give back to the communities. We go to the nursing homes as well. We just make everybody feel safe because they're still battling there as well. It's a lot of them in there that has family that hasn't even came to visit them in years. So just to have somebody, just to show that love to other people, not just family, friends, but to other people you don't even know, that makes them feel good. But I started our missions group to have a safe place for us. I was burned, like I said, at age 2. They told my parents that I would be like a vegetable due to, my feet being burned, my hands burned, like the way it was burned. They said that I wouldn't be able to walk again. I was burned like my stomach area, my back area, everything is burned. So in that situation, they thought that I wouldn't be able to have children, like all of that. But so far, God has did the unthinkable. I have 2 boys. Um, I went to regular school. I graduated high school. I went to college. I graduated in business. Then I also went to Pat Goins Beauty School. I graduated as a cosmetologist. Once I graduated, I found out I didn't like hair as much. I got into dabbing into makeup. Because when I was little, my mom, she passed at 12. well, when I was 12. When I was little, I used to give my mom lipstick all the time. Like that was a big thing to me. I don't know why. Like lipstick, I just felt like it made me pretty wearing lipstick. So I wore it in high school. Eyeshadow, I really wore a lot of eyeshadow. But the older I got, I didn't like how eyeshadow looked as much as I did lipstick. So once I graduated cosmetology school, I got into lipstick. I did all my research on, my products, the ingredients. And I also made it to where it is safe for everybody to wear. Um, and I launched my first line in 2017. It's called Amiana's Matte Lipstick. It's a highly pigmented lipstick. It's selling all over the world right now. It's on Marketplace, Walmart Marketplace. We also are opening up our storefront this Saturday here in Louisiana. And I also have my own website as well. So I just look at it, God, I mean, he can do anything. Like, we hear that from people, but to actually live that, it's just, to me, it's just amazing. And I try to every day to tell myself because even though, like you guys said, I am the person, the go to person. Like, I take the calls, the emails, the texts, all of that, the messages on Facebook. We're not a counselor, but in ways we are. We should be getting paid for because we have so many people reaching out to us. But I enjoy it because I didn't have that, especially young girls. I didn't have nobody to just go to. I didn't meet another burn survivor until our first conference. Like I didn't like, and that was in 2019. I'm 34 now. That was in 2019. That was my first time meeting another burn survivor, and she was comfortable to talk about it. And again, I was that person. I still will. Some days I feel like I want to show, my scars. Some days I feel like, okay, I don't want to show them. I wear my long sleeve because I don't want to hear, they start asking you a million and one questions about how, and especially children. And I'm not the mean person, especially children. And once children bring it to you, here come the adults looking at you crazy. So I still have my days to where I do cover up because like I said, I'm burned my legs, my feet, everything. And I have a 13-year-old. At first he was so embarrassed like of my scars. But like I guess because he got used to being down, he'd be like, "Mama, why you got the?" Now he's asking me, "Why you got that on?" He's asking me that, and I find myself like it's not often, but some days I find myself crying. Um, I'm like, why me? Why me? And one day we was in the living room, we was talking about it, me and him. I vent to him all the time, and he gonna say, "Mama, if it wasn't you, then who?" So when I looked at it, you know what I'm saying? God does things for a reason. And I felt like if it wasn't me, then who? Somebody, one of my other siblings probably couldn't handle what I'm handling. God put things on you because you can handle it. He don't give you nothing that you can't handle. So I just look at it like I was the person to go through this. And I'm so glad that I'm not saying that I'm I'm proud to be a burn survivor, but I'm happy that I have the mind. I'm happy that I have the heart. I'm happy that, I can actually help the next person with my story, because it's a lot of people who have been burned as an adult and they can't handle what I'm handling. Like a lot of them are taking their life. You know what I'm saying? But because my scars grew up with me, like I every day, this is what I know. So some days I may battle it, but some days I'm like, you know what, girl, you better get up. You beautiful. Put on you some clothes. Take you a selfie. If that make you good, take you a selfie. Sometimes those things help you. And I'm just blessed. I am blessed. Um, Not only with my missions group, Women with Scars, because like we have had, I think 5 conferences, and I have had so many testimonial stories after these conferences. It's just amazing. If y'all want to go to my page, you can see every time we have a conference, it's a full house. And I don't know where the people come from. I don't know, but I thank God, for always being in the room. And
Yes.
it's just amazing. It's amazing, y'all. It is. And I just thank God every day for just allowing me to be who I am, you know? And I just thank God, y'all. I
Thank
do. I
you.
do.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Amiana, for your story. That is so awesome. And your cosmetics line is killing it. I think you said you're in Walmart too, right?
Yes, ma'am. We're on Walmart Marketplace, and
Okay.
I also have my own website. We're working on my grand opening this weekend, so it's been busy, but hey, it's all worth it.
Yes, that is awesome. Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
ma'am.
And I actually spoke to one of um her name is Bree. I talked to her and I saw a picture with you and her on it. And I was like, oh my God, you know Amiana? So yeah, like she's amazing. She's gonna do a Starlight article. You were actually a part of my Starlight feature articles too. So you guys can go and read about Amiana and her story on my website. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So let's see. We actually have about 12 minutes left. I'm trying not to keep everybody for too long because it's like an hour and a half and it's goes so fast, right? But I do have some questions and some comments in the box. So I'm gonna go ahead and, okay, so from Avora Baker, she says, Kim, kudos to your inner warrior. I can relate to everything you're saying. I'm working on my mindset and it is a struggle. I hired for my husband and I didn't want him to look at me. How do you deal with pain from keloid?
Thank you, Avora. So I would say the physical pain that I feel, the massaging really has helped. Sometimes that would irritate some people's skin. So like play around with the pressure. So if you're physically trying to get over that pain, I would start massaging with things. I actually am gonna lean over and grab something for you.
So
So,
Amiana, could you mute? I'm getting some feedback.
this is from Ancient Cosmetics, a line, and it's calendula and geranium, and these are natural anti-inflammatory just essential oils and different things like that. And I have noticed a difference with itching and pain when consistently using something like this. But even if it's nothing with this in it, just massaging kind of scratches the itch in a way without you having to like literally scratch, because you also don't want to scratch a keloid. You don't want to scratch yourself and anything like that. But as far as like the emotional pain around it, honestly, it's like, I'm going to say this just the way I'm going to say it. Thinking about my whole life and what I want just seems greater than my emotional pain. Like, just there's so much life out there, and my scars are the least interesting thing about me.
Right. Absolutely.
They're the least
Absolutely.
about me. I'm a whole person beyond that. And when you say that you hide from the husband, so I'm in my first relationship right now, and that was a really
Okay,
hard.
wait. No, that's a question we have at the end. So don't answer yet.
Okay, I'll stop.
Don't answer yet. So let me get to that. Okay, so thank you for answering her question. I think you did good. So we have a couple more. So this one is from Danielle Polion. She says, not a question, but I am 23 years old and seeing Kimberly's content has helped me to feel confident in myself and my scar. I have a hypertrophic scar on my face. I am so grateful I found her through hashtags. Continue to post and be confident. You never know who's watching and whose life you are impacting for the better. So Kim. Thank you. Stephanie Mack, not a question, but hearing all your stories is so encouraging. Thank you for that, Stephanie.
That's one of my best friends.
Awesome. And Aurora Baker, who has been like the chat queen here, thank you. She says, I'm loving this, thanks. And from Tatiana W, thank you ladies for having the courage to share details about your individual journeys and experiences with keloids. I love that you all have created such a safe space to motivate and encourage other Black women. Thank you. You're very welcome. And Bonita Barrett, no question, just a comment. Erin, a mom of a Scar Warriors. Erin, a mom of a Scar Warriors.
She's trying to say I am a mom.
Okay.
That's my mom.
Oh, okay. I'm reading this right. I want to say I applaud you beautiful ladies for creating this platform. You are all will touch many lives. I have truly been blessed by hearing your stories and pray for you all on this journey of making a difference, not only in your community and in the general population all across the world. Keep pressing and keep educating. So thank you, Vanita, Mom. And Lady Unique, Miss Angie Mack, how are you? I think you're over in London, so I don't know what time it is for you, but thank you for joining.
Man.
Yeah, she was actually on one of my other Scar Talks. So hi, Angie. So
Angie is
you ladies,
amazing.
you ladies are awesome. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all. Thank you guys for your comments. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining. So to end this out, I actually have 5 questions, but I think I'm going to go with 3 just because we're kind of short on time and I want all of us to answer these questions. So let me see. Okay, so how do you deal with vulnerability around your scar? So we'll start with Marcia.
For me, I actually embrace it, and I find myself looking for clothes that actually show my scars. If I'm dressing up and putting on an evening gown, I actually look for an off the shoulder. Sometimes I start to think that people are going to get sick and tired of me showing my scar. And some of it is just because I want other people to be free. And I truly believe that we walk this earth and that every single thing we go through is not about me. My walk is for somebody else's healing. My walk is for some little girl to know that she can wear a wedding dress. I purposely chose
Yes.
my wedding dress, and I went to the store, and this is a testimony. I went to the store and told the lady, hey, I have this burn. It's not to be covered up, it's an accessory. And so my burn actually goes down my back, it goes down my chest, it's on the side of my face. And my wedding dress, I showed it to a little girl that was burned a month after I purchased my wedding dress. And she was like, you wore that? And I said, I knew there was going to be a little girl that needed to see this.
Yes,
And she was
absolutely.
burned almost 30 days afterwards. And so I also wanted to speak to, I think there's the lady that said about hiding from her husband. He's your husband. And he loves you. And one of the best pictures I have from my engagement is my then fiance kissing me on my shoulder. He kissed my scars, and that was one of my prayers, that whoever God gave me, who God gifted me, would actually love my scars. I've never had a surgery. I considered it when I was younger, but I cannot imagine my life without them. And I actually have 2 Corinthians 12 tattooed on the back of my shoulder, and it says perfectly scarred, 2 Corinthians 12. And I encourage anyone to read it because that's what broke me free in my late 20s.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to go next real quick. So it's very similar to you. I embrace my scars. And like you said, when I think about my scars or maybe not showing them, I think about the women that are scared to show them and that I have to be that one to do it for them and for me, for other people to see it as well. You know what I'm saying? So as far as showing my scars, like I honestly don't care. I don't have a lot of moments where it's like I'm afraid to show my scar, but there are times, like Amiana said, where I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like questions if there are questions. But I think I've overcome most of my vulnerability around my scars because it's me, it's here, like it or leave it, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go to Kimberly next. How do you deal with vulnerability around your scar?
I would dare say that we have, I'm not going to say audiences, but just different spaces that we're in. So vulnerability, I realized that I wasn't even being vulnerable with friends or family. So it started there. In my own house, I started to start wearing tank. Like, if I'm not comfortable with mom, dad, and brother, you're not going to be comfortable out in the world. If you don't talk to your friends about your condition, they're not going to know what you're experiencing. They're not going to know that you might be acting a little funny because you're anxious about that. You need to talk to your people. In dating, on dating profiles, I just go ahead and post the pictures and wear the clothes. Why? Because if you are going to be, like you said, Mark, if you're going to be if this is going to be happening, this is not going to be a secret to you, and you need to. And I'd rather put that out there now and know that you are coming to me knowing that than to have to make this big disclosure thing later on in life. And kind of like you said, Marcia, like there are areas of my body that I would say are private and intimate that I'm not going to be like, well, also look at, I'm not going to do that. But for the portions of my body that have the condition that I would deem are acceptable to show, I do it as frequently and often as I can, because sometimes, like you said, I can't, and that's okay. Sometimes I just can't and don't feel like it, but otherwise I just go ahead and put myself out there, because the people that are for you will be able to find you a lot better. And the people that are supporting you and loving you and don't care about stuff like that will find you if you just live in your truth. Bam.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So Nicole, how do you deal with vulnerability around your scar?
Kim is the first person that taught me that the art of touch. So it started with me touching my scars using raw cocoa butter. Kim taught me that in 2020. And after I learned how to embrace the art of touch and then looking in the mirror, I just started to be more comfortable with it, because this is what I think. If I can look at myself with love, then I can be vulnerable around this, because if I've embraced it and if I love it, whoever's coming, they don't have a choice. Like, you have to understand that you don't have to hide from your husband, baby, because he just does not have any other option. He got to love him, and he will love him. And it's more of us that's getting in the way. I know y'all laugh. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm being for real. Like, you just can't give anybody any choice. Like, you don't have the option not to love me. So just go. But if you're gonna be here, then you love it. And that's just that. Like, it's we gotta stop giving people room to come in our lives and not be who we need them to be, and love us from a place of weakness or trauma. Like, we don't be afraid of that. That's what helps me embrace being vulnerable. I'm like, look, I have to show up, and when I show up for me, whoever's coming in, they're gonna show up with me. It takes two to pull, and we both pull it. And that's what I think when I think about the opposite sex and dating, because I had a very hard time with that. And we only have 2 minutes, but a very, very hard time with that. I'm getting better. But really, I just embrace it for what it is. I started looking in the mirror and touching myself, not what y'all think, but me, but like up here and back here. And that helps me embrace it. And then I believe authenticity requires you to be vulnerable. In my world, now
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that's a truth for everybody, but for me,
that's everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm a big on integrity and transparency and being honest. So,
right. Awesome. All right, Amiana, how do you deal with vulnerability around your scars?
I think I agree with Miss Marcia. I kind of, well, Miss Kimberly, one of you guys said, walk around the house, kind of try to, dress like you would want to dress in front of everybody else. And then, it does make you a little more comfortable than it does. And that's about it. I don't know. I just try to, when I'm shopping, I try to find different things. Like, I don't try to shop in the same area. I start trying to shop in different areas when I'm buying things. I'm getting a little better with that. I can say that. So that's about much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one more question, and I'm gonna try to combine like two of them, because I started at 5, and it's like there's no way we're gonna be here for another hour trying to answer all these questions, right?
But I will say these are good questions, and we have the audience of people who want to hear the answers. We're just gonna throw that out there. Okay.
All right, all right.
We're staying on until you cut it off.
All right, well, you heard it from Kimberly first, so Bill, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna go through all the questions.
Answer the questions. Yeah.
Okay, so we did that vulnerability one. Okay, so what does confidence mean to you, and how are you building it? And I think we kind of touched on this a little bit already. But actually, I'll start with this question first. So confidence means being who you are without apology, right? Because I think sometimes with scars, we try to hide, we don't want other people to see. I mean, because we hide from ourselves, right? Emiana, do you mind muting for me? I think you're giving me feedback. Emiana, mute your phone. Thank you. um, so I think that we hide from ourselves, and which in turn makes us hide from other people. And so you can't be like confident when you are in that space. So confidence is like becoming your own validation, doing things to help you build that. For me, my number one thing has been self-development. It's always been about the mind. Like I said before, you know, we're scarred on the outside, but then that really gets you to look deeper inside yourself, who you are, what your purpose is, how you can help other people, because then it gets you looking into like, it's not about you. It's not about you anymore, right? Like, how can I use this to help somebody else? Because then that in turn will actually help you internally, you know what I mean? While you're helping someone else. Self-development, books, meditation, like all of that mindset stuff, like I'm all in it. Like I'm always reading, I'm always you know, doing Audible, I'm always creating. Like I've literally, I say this coaching program that I have has been a labor of love, because I've done like so much research. I've used all my experiences from my past relationships and things to build this. I've had to stop at times because I had to go through it. You know, I had to go through some stuff and like build confidence around what I was talking about, like vulnerability and self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Like I had to go through it too. So it's a process, but you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going and build it. Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom this time. So Nicole, are you there?
I'm here, but I'm eating. So call me next. Yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm so hungry. Just call me next, please, please.
We'll go back up to the top. Let's go with you, Marcia.
But my answer is short and simple. Confidence to me is showing up afraid and still doing it afraid. That actually is the bravest thing that we could ever do, is still show up and do it, even though we have fear or we tremble a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, Kimberly.
So she said basically what I was going to say, which is like, what does confidence mean to me? And even though I know, I would say that confidence is supposed to be like this firm, like unwavering kind of thing. So I don't even feel comfortable saying that I'm always confident. I just know that I strive to be firm, and I'm on a journey to be more firm in how I feel about myself. And for the days that I don't feel confident, I then lean into courage, which is doing the thing scared.
Yes.
Where my confidence isn't, then that's where my courage steps in. And I try to like just feed into those things.
All right, absolutely. So one of the podcasts that I listened to was Mel Robbins, and she said that there's a confidence competence loop, right? Because you're never going to feel confident at first when you don't know how to do something, right? Confidence is about taking action and actually doing it over and over again until you get competent, and that is what builds your confidence. So when you're talking about us, you know, going out, walking around in the house, not showing our scars, right? That's like, okay, how many times do you have to do that before you can actually go outside and start doing it, right? It's a process, and you have to take action and like build confidence over time.
And there's no number for that either. And
Right.
I'm going to say this out loud for my panel and for people joining. If the way that life and how expensive life is, your house is like the place that you pay, like that got to be the place that you feel the most comfortable. I
Yes.
pay to be here. I pay to be here. I ain't gonna not wear my scars out in my own house. This is supposed to be the most comfortable, the most confident, and I paid the bills here. Yeah, somewhere in this shirt.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, so you're going to circle back to you, Nicole. What does confidence mean to you, and how are you building it?
It's just, I'm piggybacking off what you all said, but I wrote in my journal about how can I show up and be confident. And one thing I hold on to is I say I make a promise with myself to show up and rise in the light and in the dark. when it's hard and when it's easy, when people are watching and when they're not watching. It is not a show. It is not a skit. It is not a film. It is a state of being, and it's constantly evolving. And just because you have a moment where you are struggling, the presence of struggle doesn't mean the absence of confidence. You just have to be sure that you're still going to rise, even if you have to take a break or an hour. That's my definition for me. I don't believe it's a universal standard of truth. I think we live in a society where there's so many rules that govern how we function and how we believe, and we get contaminated with false ideologies. So I always say I just want to show up in the light and the dark, and as I am and who I am.
Yes.
No, not scripted, not fabricated, and not doing it for people.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry for
Awesome.
eating. You told me not to. I'm gonna do it
It's
on
all right. I
camera.
know
'cause
we're
y'all
going
want-
over. I give you permission.
Okay, I'll just
All
tell
right.
the camera.
Amiana. So what does confidence mean to you, and how are you building it? I think you're on mute now.
Just being unapologetically you. No matter where you are. I know me for myself, I'm country. I get around a lot of people, they tell me the same thing, but I only can be me. That's what I feel like it is. Don't try to, pretend to be someone that you're not, because when you're doing that, you always, to me, you're still hiding the truth, when you're, being someone that you're not. So I just feel like just be you. I can get in a room and be professional. I can get in a room, and be country professional. So it's just, I just feel like you should just be yourself regardless. Love the way you love and be who you are.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay. What does unconditional love look like for you? And I think this might be some of the same answer with confidence, but I will start with you, Marcia. We're just going to keep going up to the top.
Marcia, can I say something? I think she kind of answered that. When she said that her husband kissed her on her with that picture, I just feel like that was everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do.
I honestly, I thank you for even saying that. I'll let you know, on our first date, I had just taken some photos.
So wait a minute. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I am
Okay.
going to switch it, because I know like some of us have been talking about relationships, because I have a relationship question, and it's like
Okay.
you guys are starting to talk. So I'm just gonna go to a relationship question. Okay.
Okay.
So how have your scars impacted your intimate relationships, if you have any at all?
Oh, well, that's a great question, because with the two, is it Amiana? Is that how you pronounce your name? Oh, I'm big on it because I don't like people calling me Marsha. So Amiana, and both she and I we grew up with our scars. So for me, it was a biggie throughout my entire life. Um, I mean, called barbecue when you turn down someone, that then you turned into a burnt such and such, and anything like that. And so, as Kim said, on dating apps, I have put it out there. I'll always put pictures where my scars are showing, where it's even more exposed. And on a Christian dating site, I got "What's wrong with your chest?" And I'm not. I'm literally stating verbatim, "What's wrong with your chest?" And that was not "Hello, how are you doing?" And so it was, "Whew, okay, what do I do?" But then I had to go back to, again, 2 Corinthians 12, and remembering I'm more than this. As Kim said, if you got to know me, this means nothing, because I'm so much more. I know who I am, and I stand firm in that. And I have so much more to offer than even conversation about this. This just helped me get to that place of confidence. And so what my standard was, my husband's going to love me, scars and flaws and all, because the greatest scars and flaws that I have are internal. They aren't even my burn. And so on my first date, I just so happened to say, okay, look, this is what it is. And I showed this photo, and he was like, oh my gosh, this photo is amazing. You look gorgeous. And I wasn't attracted to him because he said I was gorgeous. I showed him the photo because I felt safe. And so, one, you just have to know who you are and what you deserve, and that will show up. My husband always says, you date at the level of your self-esteem.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that alone is a mic drop. You date at
Yes.
the level of your self-esteem.
Yes. So,
That's it.
you know, I think you're just answering all the questions for all of us. Like,
I
like
mean,
how do we like,
like, all right, yeah, we go.
we're done. That question's answered. But I absolutely agree with everything that you're saying because, like I said, so I have this program preparing for love. And so for me, like I think my standard of dating has gone higher. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in a place where I'm not going to settle for just anybody or anything. It's like, this is me. I have a scar, and you know what I'm saying? Take it or leave it. Like, there's so much more that I want to do. There's so much more that I am. And for you to see just a scar and not everything else means that you are not that person for me. You know, so and it's not, it's about like you choosing, because a lot of times we have scars, we're like, oh, you know, I'm afraid that this guy won't like me, or I'm afraid to put myself
I'm
out there. But it's like,
lucky.
no, like
Yeah.
I'm choosing you.
Hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead, Kimberly. Go
No,
ahead.
that's what I'm saying. I felt the same way. Like, oh gosh,
Yes.
I got a person, or kind of almost like I'm not duping them or hoodwinking them, but it's almost like, oh God, I think somebody's around, and I'm like, why are you feeling that way? So happy that somebody is tolerating you. Is that what you feel like you deserve? Is that what you feel like you deserve? And it was
Right.
very disruptive. All these past
Mhm.
weeks has been incredibly disruptive, because that means I had to peel back the layers of how I felt, like Marcia said, about myself. And
Absolutely.
how I allowed people to treat me. That's how I allowed men to approach and treat me as if I'm just lucky to even have your attention. But you have to, exactly. Ooh, I praise God for releasing me from that, because once I did, I really just started appreciating so many things about myself, and that made me go,
Absolutely.
"Ooh, now what I'm going to accept is just no." It's just
Yeah.
and around the intimacy, kind of like you like said, I would put it out there, so I knew that if anybody was coming to talk to me, it is because you already know that this is what I look like and this is what's going on. I've also had similar experience of like, I'm coming to just ask you what's wrong with you. Thank you. My name is Kimberly. I like other things than thank you. Gone. So
Right.
my now relationship I've been in for a little over 2 years. It was very hard because I hadn't talked to a person who was as inquisitive as he has been. Well, how do they feel? How did you get them? Well, what happens when you do this? Do they hurt? Just different, just him being so curious about my experience was refreshing to me, and almost forced me in a level of like, if you're going to be with this person, you're going to have to tell them this. And remember, I was talking about the flinching for touch. Now, y'all, that is like my number one. If I'm stressed, without me, I haven't asked for it in a really long time. He just knows that when I'm stressed, he just like massages my shoulders, just starts massaging, and that almost like releases my everything, because he does that. And it took me so long to be comfortable with somebody just even touching, especially a man, especially a man. I'm
Right.
like, no, he should be disgusted. And I'm saying the words that I felt. I'm not putting that on anybody else, but I'm saying the words that I felt. He should be disgusted. This is gross. I don't look like, and I'm letting people who know, who are maybe like you just right now in your dating, I'm learning that that's not true. Sure, let me rephrase. There are people who care.
Yes.
Respectfully,
Yes.
to hell with him.
Yes.
People
Exactly.
who don't care, ladies, let's not miss out on the men who don't care. And I'm receiving love that I didn't feel like I could receive, or didn't feel like I deserved, because I got out of my own way. And I just want that for everybody. And that's how I approach intimacy. It's like, hey, I can only be,
Yes.
people can only meet me as comfortable as I am with myself. I know that I'm continuing to get more comfortable with myself and more comfortable with myself. But if I am going to be married one day, and that's a goal for me, then that means I'm going to have to be vulnerable. That means I'm going to have to include another person in my walk and in my experience and tell
Yes.
exactly what I need, how I'm feeling, all of those things. If you want that, you got to put yourself out there.
Right, right. And I love to see that. Like women with who scarred, like have kids and relationships, because there are women out there that think that's not possible for them. And it's like that's when we get back to you restricting yourself and you're blocking yourself. It was
Quite
like this
literally.
love is for everybody. Like it's here. Like you can have a relationship, you can have a marriage, like you can. Like you just need to remove that block from you. You know what I mean? So Amiana, I'll go with you next. How have your scars impacted your intimate relationships, if at all? You're on mute.
I agree with you, ladies, especially when it comes to touching. Um, I don't know. It just I haven't got to the point where I'm comfortable. My son, well, my children's father, I was more comfortable. But no, but we're not in a relationship, so it's so hard for me to kind of, get back comfortable because I don't know if, like you said, Miss Kimberly, if you are, trying to be funny or if this is really what you like. So I'm kind of I'm not just there with it right now because of my scars, but I know when the right guy, comes around that, I will, definitely be. But right now I just feel like I'm trying to protect me, like in a way, from being hurt again, from going through, battling anything with anybody. I just don't feel like to waste time. And I'm at a point now, I feel like I know what I want. You know, I don't care about my scars. Of course, I know my condition, but I want someone, like you guys said, that love me with my scars and all. And, it's so many people that, they just want something temporary. So right now, I'm just protecting me right now.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, and Nicole, how have your scars impacted your intimate relationships? And I know we talked about this, but
Yeah, well, I don't have a relationship history. I'm real. I'm 32. I'll be 33. I wasn't. Ooh, it's an echo somewhere.
Amiana, could you mute your phone?
Okay.
Thank you.
Like I like to hear myself talk, but not that much. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay. So I'm saying this, and I don't even want to admit it, but it's just about being honest. A lot of us don't get that luxury of dating when we're younger. I watched all my friends love and get married in our 20s and go on dates, and I never had that opportunity. I didn't get that in my life. So I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I completely know everything that I want because I don't know how I look in a relationship or how I function in one. But what I did do recently, I met someone and I typically run. I did run, but I came back and I said, no, I don't have to run. There's no need to run. And I kind of messaged him. He's my Uber driver. I went through the app and I was like, I left some in your car. I ain't leave none in that man car.
That
Whatever that
sound
was.
like spitting game to me. I love
Yeah, like I was like, I left my wallet in your car. I ain't leave. I had my wallet.
I left my phone number.
I know I should have said phone number, but that in our interaction that there was something going on. We talked the whole ride. I kind of could feel it, and so I spent the block him, and it worked. And here I am. It's been like 4 or 5 months, and this is still my friend. I'm learning how I look in that space. And I didn't leave with my scar. I didn't preface with being scarred. On day naps, I had to show it. I talked about my scar to look so tough, but it was I just want to let people know so they wouldn't, if they saw it, they wouldn't say, what's that? I just want to put it out there to be free. But I didn't even tell him, I didn't leave with it. I thought, hey, if he sees it, if he finds out, he finds out. But I don't have to preface with anything or lead with it. It wasn't until 2 months in where I finally said something about being scarred. And he was very, like yours, Kim, very intrigued. Didn't have the nerve to get mad because I don't want to show it. Didn't have the nerve to get mad because there's no treatment options. So he started getting upset about the situation.
Okay.
I'm like, you're taking it too personal. Just relax. And so, but this is my good friend, and we'll see where it goes. But it's interesting for me because again, I never had this opportunity until my 30s. There are a lot of late bloomers in the world that don't know how to answer this question or have not yet had an intimate relationship, whether we're just talking about mentally intimate or physically. Do not be ashamed of that. For a while, I would lie to men or hide there, tell my friends, well, hey, don't say anything, because I thought that made me look inferior. And who would want to date somebody who never had anyone? But you got to get out your way with those. This is the other side of that. That is still being in your way, putting limitations on what you can receive just because you haven't received it yet. So this is the other side of that question, because there might be someone watching this that's like, oh, I don't know about intimacy. You don't have to. You just have to show up, like I said earlier, in that space and say, this is who I am. Feel safe. Don't give it to all men. Some men take advantage of you when they know you don't have this type of experience. So act in wisdom. And wisdom is something that don't necessarily require experience all the time. It's a lot of experienced fools. But well, foolishness, excuse me. But I'm calling it like it is. But experience is acting wisdom, get in a safe space, and then show up as who you are.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Nicole. That was awesome. And I know we talk about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you have grown so much, and like I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a point in time when you were just like, I don't see it at all. There's nobody for me.
Oh, nah,
like, you know, all
and
that.
he still might not be. Y'all look now.
But that's okay. But you're in this space, and you're trying. Like before, you just had so much fear around you, and you were just like even scared to even get out there. But you know, that's awesome. Like I love that. Absolutely. So I'm going to end with our questions. I'm going to go back to the question and answer box because there's a couple more that we have here. And let's see. So Nicole Robertson. So hi, Nicole. I'm so glad you could join. I actually talked to Nicole about probably a couple of years ago when I first started. But she's awesome. But she said, I had to join late. It sounds like I missed an amazing seminar. And this was absolutely amazing. Like better than I even thought. But will the recording be available to watch later? Yes. So give me a couple of days. I'll send out an email to everybody. I'll put it on social media with the recording. I'll kind of chop up some stuff too of our sessions for you ladies to put on your social media, and send you the links and stuff as well. And Evora Baker says, Amiana, we are homies. Yeah. So Miss Angie Mack, she says, hi, Marcia. Yes, I remember. Bless you. And Evora, you are 100% correct. It is me. He is fine with my scar. I think this is the one who's talked about her husband. And Miss Angie Mack, love you all. Continue to show up and be the best versions of yourself. And Evora, thanks for keeping it real. So those are all the questions and comments that we have. I am going to close. I'm going to thank you, ladies, so much for being here. This has been awesome. It has been 2 hours. Of this session, and all of it was just like complete gold. So, and we probably could have went like another hour. Right, so this is a perfect group. I'm so grateful for y'all. I thank you. So I will close here. I'll send you the recordings and everything, and I think we're good to go. Thank you, ladies, and have a good night.
Thank you, Amira.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Amira.
Nice to meet y'all. Bye.
Thank you
Nice to
so
meet you
much.
too.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you again.
Mhm.